This is Saturday Morning Mysteries.
And we're your hosts, Alexis and Grace.
Good morning, party people, and welcome to Saturday Morning Mysteries. We're your hosts. I'm Grace.
And I'm Alexis.
And if you're new to the show, just tuning in, we take some of our fave Saturday morning cartoons and retell them as quote-unquote true crime stories. Yes, heavy on the air quotes on the trueness of these crimes. And we go through, different arcs of shows about 8-ish episodes. I think
no rules. There are no rules. We've done 8, but
we've been doing 8.
Yeah.
It could change. This could be our last one of Courage the Cowardly Dog. It's not, though.
It's not, but like for all you know, it is. But it
could have been. It's not. Like we just said, we're currently on Courage the Cowardly Dog. We're about 2 episodes in. This is our 3rd one for Courage, which has been full of monsters and criminals and evil villains.
And the supernatural and spooky.
Yes, the very spooky ooky. And today Alexis is telling us another story, so take it away.
Thank you. I will reach out, take it, grab it, put it in my pocket, and run away with it.
Yeah,
AKA leave. All right, and episode over. I'm just doing what you told me to do. Yeah, Grace, fill up the next 45 minutes or so if you don't mind. Yeah, just stand there looking stressed out. Like,
there's a dog. He was very courageous, but sometimes he was cowardly.
I don't know what episode she's doing.
Oh, God.
Anyway, so yes, Grace did a great job there, leading us in, reminding us that Courage is both full of crime and full of like creepy, spooky things. And today's episode is chock full of both of those. Okay. So today I will be recapping and perhaps comedically reinterpreting season 3, episode 1A, and it's called Muriel Meets Her Match. So this one came out November 16th, 2001. And let me say, I'm going to just jump right into it because there's a bit of wild speculation we'll do, but we'll kind of save it for the end because I want to get through the story with you first, and then we might have to like bounce ideas off of each other about where our culprits are coming from with all of this. So let's go. So it is a dark night in the middle of nowhere, Kansas, the middle of nowhere hometown of the Bag family. There's this Muriel and their lovable dog, Courage. But out of nowhere, we see a high stakes car chase going on between a Winnebago motorhome and like a bunch of police cars. And so I know you're big with like, traveling vans or like.
Yeah, I'm like, how fast can that go?
Yeah, I don't think Winnebagos can typically go like over 80, maybe.
Like, even like,
if that.
Kind of older, aren't they?
They are. I might still have it pulled up. I think the company was founded in like the 80s or like let's see here.
So maybe like a 20-year-old car?
Even older, the 50s. Yeah. I feel like this show does have a lot of like the 50s themed vehicles.
Yes.
If that makes sense.
Yeah,
like in my last episode.
Cars.
Yeah. So I really don't know what time period Courage the Cowardly Dog takes place in. But they have, I guess all the criminals are old and like couldn't get past like, I don't know, the 50s and 60s style. Like it worked back then. We'll just keep it for now.
It's like a 30-mile-per-hour car chase.
The cops are just like, please pull over, like slowly sirening behind them. But no, so this seems to be like a very intense, high action Winnebago and cop car chase. And inside of this Winnebago, we see a couple by the name of Maria and Manuel, aka Mano Ladrones. Okay. And Grace, I feel like we're going to kind of do an inverted version of your first episode of Courage the Cowardly Dog, where you talked about a con artist criminal who spoke a language I'm familiar with. Today, I'm going to introduce the Ladronis family as a con artist criminal couple who speaks a language that you are more familiar with. So
Perfect.
I had to do some research. I'm not sure if this is super accurate, but I think Ladronis translates to thief.
I had no idea.
Or burglar. Okay, I don't know. That doesn't really seem like something you would learn in like high school Spanish.
Yeah, we definitely did
like let's teach these kids
about
how to say
crime.
thief and murder. Yeah. Anyway, so Maria Ladronis, I'll describe her a little bit. She's like a middle-aged Hispanic woman. She's got a slight Mexican accent. I will not be
Great.
I will not be trying to copy that during this episode, but she's got this very voluminous hair, like this thick black updo, and red eyes. What? And a nice little mole or like beauty mark at the bottom of her left cheek. And she's wearing this pink sweater dress type of fit. It has like a collar and just this like knee-length dress. And in terms of her facial appearance, she actually, interestingly enough, looks a lot like Muriel Bag, just with a darker skin tone. Yeah, she's kind of got the cute poofy cheeks and little slightly pointed nose. And her husband, Manuel, we don't really see him too much in the episode, but we can infer that he's probably a pretty tall guy. He's very built. He's got dark hair and like a short, kind of just normal Caesar-ish buzz cut. And he's wearing jeans and a white shirt. And he's just got these very strong, powerful hands and forearms, AKA the name Mano, which I think is Spanish for hand.
Yeah.
Is it? Okay, cool. So they are a very loving couple. They're in it through thick and thin, but they have this one little problem about them that they like to get in a lot of trouble and are actually on the lam from the law. They have recently escaped from prison somewhere near nowhere, and that is why they are running from the police. So I guess you would call them like a regular Bonnie and Clyde, or a Bonita and Claudio, perhaps. Something along those lines. So also a funny, or no, wait, I did already say that Ladronis means thief / burglar, and Mano is Spanish for hand. I had to type that in there too to make sure I said that if it is correct. And so inside of this van, as they're like careening down these roads in the middle of the deserts of nowhere, Kansas, we hear Maria like yelling to Mano. She's the one driving, and she yells to Mano that next time they make a getaway, he needs to remind her to drive something smaller than a house.
I mean, we just went through this. Yes,
we did. They do not drive fast. They're quite big. I'm sure it's not easy to make quick turns. And I know this because Maria decides she needs to make a quick turn to get the cops off of her tail. And she asks Mano to reach in, grab her, give her a hand. They like quickly pull the wheel over together because there's a massive ass motorhome that they're on a chase in. And they just so happen to actually pull right behind the home of none other than Eustace, Muriel, and Courage. But they do this before the cops can see them. And so the cops continue on down the road. How? It's a massive window. You know, there's like a cloud of dirt probably. Like,
and there's just nothing around the farm.
Nothing at all. Like they literally just pull it right behind the house. It's like there's no trees. You can see it. You can see it.
Good. Amazing.
So as this is happening, Courage, he's looking out the window. He hears all the commotion, and all that he can see, though, is the cop cars flying by. So he kind of just shrugs it off like, must just be some chase. And so the next morning, they're watching the news on their TV, Courage, Eustace, and Muriel, in their family room. And they just hear a newscaster who is reporting on the dangerous Ladronis family, who has just notoriously escaped from jail. And so while they're watching this on TV, we also see Maria and Mano in their motorhome out back listening to the story on the radio. And right after this breaking news story, the newscaster goes on to mention that there is also, coincidentally, a new exhibit at the Nowhere Museum called the Grandmother Diamond exhibit. And this diamond, it is like It's like honestly half the size of Courage, and it's like glowing neon blue. So I don't, this thing honestly looks like it's from an alien planet. I'm not sure, but it is clearly very valuable. Yeah, probably radioactive, which maybe that explains some of the stuff in Nowhere. I have some suspicions about that. Maybe we'll talk about that at the end of our Courage arc.
Interesting, yes.
Interesting. But nonetheless, it is clearly something that is going to just like have a bunch of tourists coming into town. And the newscaster actually says that the lines are out the door for this museum, and it is coincidentally attracting a lot of jewel thieves to the area as well. You see like jewel thieves waiting outside the museum, hoping to get in.
Are they just dressed up as like the Hamburglar?
It doesn't. Yeah. I mean, if it actually showed them, I don't think it actually did, but you know, they would be like, it would just be these I think they've done like Thieves and Courage before like that, where they're just like these big upper bodied guys.
Yeah.
With
tiny
masks
legs.
On. Yeah. Tiny legs, like holding little sacks over, like the striped stuff on. Probably them, just the line of them waiting outside the museum. As long as they pay, it's fine. Pay for admission. And so meanwhile, back in the Winnebago, after all this news is going on, Maria comes up with an idea, and she's like staking out the bag house, looking around. She's got binoculars, like looking through their windows and everything, watching Muriel do errands around the house and just kind of like scoping out the premises. And she decides to just walk on up, knock on the door, and introduce herself as their new neighbor. So far, quite polite. Sounds like a normal, good citizen.
Yeah. And so Mono just in the Winnebago still?
Yeah, Mono's just chilling in the Winnebago. Okay. Yeah. So Maria's like, I'll handle this. You stay out. You stay here.
Okay.
So when she knocks on the door, Muriel answers. And Maria says that she and her husband had car troubles and are just going to camp out in their Winnebago in the Bag family's backyard until the car is fixed. Courage is immediately like very sus. He's a very, very good boy, as per usual. And because he knows that like strange things are always happening around Nowhere. But this day in particular, he's seen a few too many weird things go on to just like let anyone come on up into the home. But nonetheless, Muriel immediately invites them into the home for tea. Maria, too trusting to a fault, because Maria, she says, oh, absolutely, I'd love to. But unfortunately, my husband, Mano, he is very, very shy, and he doesn't want to get out of the Winnebago. And Courage and Muriel like look over to the Winnebago, and we just see like from behind a curtain the shadow of Mano kind of waving at them like, hi, I'm here, but I don't want to come out. Whatever, I'm not coming out. So Maria, she enters the home with Muriel, and Courage, though, he's like, well, that's kind of strange. So he hangs back and he keeps watching as Mano is waving, and he sees something very strange that sends him into quite a panic. As Mano's waving, he sees like the head and the body just kind of like fall back, and the hand keeps waving at him. So he suspects it's like a cardboard cutout. It's very strange. So Courage runs back inside after Muriel and Maria, and he like slams the door shut, and he's all like babbling like, stop, don't let her in, something's wrong. But Eustace, he is actually inside still watching TV, but the satellite connection has just gone out. How convenient. And good God forbid that Eustace has to turn the TV off like talk to Muriel or something, or like engage in a conversation rather than stare at the television. So he is inside having a fit. He's like trying to move the antenna around. He's yelling. He's hitting the TV. And Muriel, she's trying to introduce Maria to him, saying, hey, meet our new neighbor. Eustace, total asshole, was like, yeah, new neighbor or whatever. Courage, go outside and check. Go fix this, you dog. Go outside, check and see if something's wrong with the antenna. So Courage, again, he's too good of a boy for his own good. He goes out front and he sees that the entire antenna has been cut from the rooftop. And it's just like laid out on the ground in front of the front door with massive gardening shears laying right next to it.
Oh.
More red flags. Okay. More red flags. So he runs back into the house to get the family's attention, but Eustace is still too busy yelling at the TV for not getting any reception, you stupid TV. So Maria tells Eustace, like, oh, you know what? Me and Mono, we actually have perfect reception in the Winnebago. You can go in there and watch the TV. And so she then goes on this little weird foreboding rant saying, like, our casa is your casa, which means what's mine is yours, which is not literally what it means, but great. Okay, cool. And so what's mine is yours and what's yours is mine. All mine. And the camera like zooms into Maria's red eyes as she's saying this.
Aggressive.
Courage is like, what are you talking about? Muriel is like, oh, how lovely. And Eustace just picks up his TV and was like, sounds good to me. And he just makes his way
He brings
back.
the TV with him.
He brings the whole TV. My assumption was that she meant you can watch our TV in our Winnebago. But Eustace is like, okay, I'll take my whole TV and plop it in your Winnebago. Whatever. So classic. A few short minutes later, now that the TV is out of the house and there's like nothing to talk about, Maria and Muriel are like just sitting there at the sofa, drinking their tea. And Maria decides, oh, I know what we can talk about. Where do you keep your valuables? Like
subtle.
Your driver's license, your birth certificate, maybe
social.
Even your social security number, the deed to the family farm.
Oh my God. Oh no.
Courage is immediately like, are you kidding me? Muriel, do not give her this stuff. But Muriel,
boy.
She assures him like, oh, come on. She's our neighbor. We can trust her. And she actually just like gets up and kind of like scooches or like slides a fairly large safe out from right behind the sofa. It's not like she goes upstairs, fetches some things or opens a closet. She just like pulls it out from behind. This is where I keep my valuables, of course.
In the open.
Yeah. And so she's like opening the safe, reading the combination out loud as Maria pulls out a legit notepad and is like writing down. Courage is like trying to bark and like distract her and like make sure she doesn't hear the numbers. But unfortunately, it doesn't work. Muriel is really enjoying having a new neighbor. Listen, to a certain point, I kind of get it. It's clearly lonely out there. Courage is a great companion. Exactly. Like anyone is less evil to her than Eustace in her eyes, I think. She's like,
might be right.
This Maria lady cannot be as bad as Eustace. I need someone else to talk to. Sure, you can have all of my confidential secret information. How bad could it be?
Right. I've been through worse.
She's way too trusting. So Muriel is like, again, telling Courage as he's jumping around, it's fine. What is she going to do with it? She's our neighbor. We know where she is if she uses the information. Which again, Maria said they're only going to be there until the car is fixed too. Yeah. So she's not even like acting like your permanent neighbor. She's literally just a squatter at this point that you're allowing to now take all of your shit. Yeah. So at this point, pleased with all of the information that she's received from Muriel, Maria asks Muriel to then share all of her beauty secrets with her. Perhaps using some of Doc Gerbil's premium farm granny line of products from a couple weeks back.
He just kept a couple behind.
He did. Or Courage actually scooped a couple from the lab before. He's like, they work.
They're popular for a reason.
Yeah. As long as we're not the test subjects, like. Yeah. I'll use them. And so anyway, Muriel takes Maria. It's going to be hard to say their names together.
Truly, it's probably on
sometimes. Yes. So she takes Maria upstairs to the bathroom and is like showing her how Muriel does her hair, putting curler or rollers in it and everything. She even dyes it white so that it literally is the exact same style and shade as Muriel's.
Muriel thinks this is a fun afternoon with a new girlfriend.
And it's exactly, and it's sad. It is, because again, it shows how lonely she is to like the first person who walks up to their door and is like, "Oh, hi, we're new in town." She's like, "Oh my God, come in. What do you want? I'll give you anything and everything that you need."
All Maria had to say was, "How are you?" And Muriel's like, "I haven't been asked that in 50 years." Come on in.
You're my best friend now. Here's the deed to our family farm. You deserve it more than Eustace at this point.
I mean, again, maybe not wrong.
No, he is the criminal. Anyway, so not only does Muriel show Maria how she does her hair, she also like gives her some of her clothes. Okay. So Maria now has the white, cute granny curls. She's in the yellow apron. She's got the boots on. And they're just downstairs sitting on the sofa, chatting it up, laughing, drinking tea. And Courage, he's watching. And even he at this point is starting to confuse which one is which. He's like, this is not good. So I'd also just like to note, while all of this is happening, Eustace is just in the Winnebago asleep. Like the TV is like 2 feet in front of him and he's like sitting on the Ladronis's sofa back there, just like snoring, and the TV's blasting. The TV is on, like the blue light is like taking over the entire room. It's so loud too, and he's just like knocked out. We don't see Mono in there. But we do finally see Mono in the very next scene. And this is why he took the opportunity to sneak out of the Winnebago while Eustace was sleeping at night with the TV blasting 2 feet away from his face. So Eustace, I guess, decided to spend the night over there in the Winnebago, and Muriel and Courage are upstairs asleep in Muriel's bed.
Okay.
And the door to her room slowly starts to open.
Oh, no.
And we just see a hand start to gently walk into the room. And when I say a hand, I straight up mean like from like the Addams Family thing. Straight up. Like, now, okay, to be fair, in the Addams Family, I think thing was just like maybe up to the wrist.
Yeah.
This is like full on just shy of the elbow. So this is like hand, wrist, most of forearm, just starts sneaking its way into Muriel's room. And dear audience and listeners, and of course, Grace, this, as I somewhat hid the ball earlier, is Mono.
Just a hand.
He is just a hand and a forearm and a forearm.
He's not just a hand.
Okay. There's so much more that he can do with that extra muscle, extra tendon.
Oh, yes. God.
Mono is just a hand. And all of this time that we see him in the episode up until now, all we see is his hand. His hand reaches in to steer the wheel. His hand is waving out the window at Courage and them. But we never really get a sense of what is it attached to. Friends, it is attached to nothing. Mono is a dismembered half arm, and that is it. Now, we're going to wildly speculate at the end about
thank you.
How the fuck is this working?
Cool.
What the hell is going on? Because I have so many questions and I was not able to cogently write any of them into the script. So I was like, Grace and I got to bounce ideas back and forth on this one. So we see Mono, the hand of Mono, sneaking into the room, climbing up Muriel's bed. This is going to sound gross. I swear to God, it's PG rated. He goes up to her face and he just plucks the glasses off of her face.
Oh, okay.
and then like slowly darts out of the room. But Courage wakes up just as he sees the hand like leaving the door, and he like then shakes Muriel awake and is like, oh my God, something just happened. What's going on?
Yeah.
Muriel, though, hilarious, is like, oh, Courage, I can't hear you when I don't have my glasses on. So Courage is like, oh shit, I gotta handle this on my own. You're true. So he books it downstairs to try to chase after Mono, but he's too late. And he just sees like the front door is wide open and the Winnebago is just peeling off down the road. Like as we speculated before, a dirt trail is left in its path. Yeah. And so he just hears the laughs of Maria as she's like frantically driving away, which, by the way, Eustace is still in there.
I forgot.
Yeah. Because he spent the night. So Courage, though, he's a little worried because he's like, well, Muriel's glasses were stolen, but Eustace is gone. And we're all alive. Like me and Muriel are still alive. So the next morning, he's actually like totally chilling. He's just vibing out, sitting on the sofa, like listening to this groovy music. Snap. It's so adorable. He looks so happy. He's like the radio's blasting.
Kidnapped. Great.
Exactly. Yeah. And again, he wasn't feeling so like welcoming to the Ladronis family. So he's happy that they're gone. Again, he's like, Muriel doesn't have her glasses. We're like, we can get another pair of glasses. Whatever. And so he's just vibing out, enjoying his morning.
Oh.
But unfortunately, Muriel walks into the room, and since she can't see, she's just like running into everything, just bumping into stuff. And Courage's whole vibe is ruined when Muriel like falls over the couch like right next to him. And even his vibe is even more so ruined when a breaking news interruption plays over the radio. Oh, no. And the newscaster is saying that the grandmother diamond that was on exhibit at the Nowhere Museum has been stolen. And that apparently the authorities believe that none other than Muriel Bagg is the culprit. And they say this because her driver's license, birth certificate, and family photos were left at the scene of the crime. It's
like the worst, best framed job ever.
No, it's like if you're a police officer and you get there and you see that, you're like, look, 2% chance any criminal would ever leave this behind, but we can't just ignore this.
We're just do our job still. Yeah. Like
this is like basic detective work. Like you can't leave your birth certificate at the scene of a crime and not expect for us to like at least ask you some questions. But also, what kind of criminal leaves their birth certificate and family photos?
Who's just carrying that around?
I know. First of all, maybe the family photos. Well, anyway, so Courage, after hearing this, he like runs over to the safe and sees it's wide open.
Of course.
Exactly. Everything has been emptied out of it. All the contents are missing. And he just like screams like, oh my God, my day is ruined. I was having such a good morning, vibing out. Now Muriel's about to fucking get arrested. Oh. And so a stern banging is like pounding at the door. Mm-hmm. He goes and opens it up, and hilarious. It's just like we described before, the burglars. It's a police officer, but he's that exact same shape, like little pencil legs and a super like buff, like stocky.
The big mustache.
This one did not have a mustache.
Okay, no. I wasn't sure if like they just use the same cop for like
sometimes they do. Yeah. They like rotate through like 2 or 3 of them. This was the one who rides on the motorcycle, so he's got like the helmet and the big goggles on. Yeah. And so Courage opens the door, and the police officer looks at Courage like, "Are you Muriel Bagg?"
You had the driver's license, sir. This is clearly just a highway cop.
Muriel, yeah, right. Or maybe not even a highway, because this is like this state route, desert road in the middle of nowhere. Yeah. So Muriel, she still can't like see or apparently hear without her glasses. Right. So she's not really sure who's at the door. She confuses it for her cousin Harold and thinks that he's just like joking around with her. Yeah, apparently Muriel has a cousin named Harold, by the way.
Okay.
Interesting. Cool. And this cop is like, ma'am, you're wanted for stealing the grandmother diamond. And she's like, oh, Harold, you're so funny. The cop pulls her glasses like out of his pocket and is like, maybe this will help. He puts her glasses back on. Like, yeah, we found those at the scene of the crime, ma'am.
Uh-oh.
Which, by the way, shouldn't they be evidence then now? Why are you like bringing them, right? This cop.
Why is this cop touching them?
He's not good at his job, as you will see here soon.
Oh, no.
So the officer, he's got no time to fuck around at this point. Muriel's just like calling him Harold. She's so confused. She has no clue what's going on. And he just grabs her and drags her out to be arrested and says that like more than 100 people witnessed her stealing the diamond.
All those people in line.
Right. Yeah. Those burglars and or thieves and the high school field trips combined, just all watching her go by. Like, there she goes with the diamond. And hilariously, the witnesses also said that they saw her husband waiting in the getaway motorhome watching TV. So they're like, yeah, we saw her take it. And we saw Eustace watching TV in the motorhome.
Both in it.
Which again, basic detective work. It's like how criminals are not likely to just be sitting watching TV, relaxing while a major crime is going on, like right behind you.
Right.
But at the same time, lady, your
husband
was, we have to look into this.
Our hands are tied.
Our hands are tied. The system. This is just how it works.
We just want to wrap this case up.
Come on. Honestly, yeah, this dude, he just wants another arrest. Like, boom, add it to my record. So Courage is like trying to pull Muriel back into the house and away from the officer. And Muriel is like, officer, please, like, there's got to be some sort of misunderstanding. I've been here all day and all last night. This is a mistake. But the officer assures her, like, no, we have so much evidence saying that this is you.
Yeah.
And at that exact moment, we actually see the Winnebago like fly down the road right by the Bag family farm. And Mono, the hand, he's just like straight up holding the diamond in the passenger seat. And Maria is like hanging her head out the window, screaming and laughing. Like they're being so conspicuous, like so obvious. And the police officer sees this and he's like, see? There you are with the diamond. Come on. That's exactly what Courage does. What you just did, just like,
God,
he just,
damn
like,
it.
Face palm and like pulls his ears down. Like, are you fucking kidding me? So at this point, Courage has little time to fuck around.
Yeah.
So he picks up Muriel, like when the police officer's like looking down, writing something, he's like, fuck this. Picks up Muriel, throws her into the sidecar on the police officer's motorcycle. Hops
Little vigilante.
He steals that shit. And also just hilarious how he's the one driving and not Muriel.
Yeah.
He like hops on and just takes off after this Winnebago.
Does he have little helmet glasses?
Oh, I don't remember.
Or
I don't think he did.
Flapping in the wind.
I think his ears are just flapping. Yeah,
adorable.
Which Cartoon Network missed the opportunity to teach about helmet safety in that instance. Oops.
Very important.
So, but also very hilariously, as Courage takes off with this, steals this police officer's motorcycle, the officer just yells off behind him like, "Hey, you have the right to remain silent." Dude, the training in nowhere, Kansas for the police department is not.
They're like, Miranda rights? Who's Miranda?
Who's Miranda? Oh, we're going to get to that later too. Anyway, so Courage, he's taken off after the Winnebago, and we see yet again another high-speed chase going down on this desolate country road. And meanwhile, in the Winnebago, Maria is saying that now that they've gotten this diamond, they can afford to get the operation for Mano. More on that in our wild speculation, perhaps.
okay.
The conversation, though, is quickly interrupted when Courage sets off the police sirens on the motorcycle, and Maria's like, oh shit, we have neighbors. Let's show them how we greet our neighbors. We got to get them off of our tail. So at this point, we learn that this Winnebago is not just any old Winnebago, y'all. So now I'm starting to understand why they're getting into so many high-speed chases with it. Mano presses a red button, typical, on the dashboard, and it like triggers all of these compartments to open, and it exposes like a radar and like
all of these souped up Winnebago.
Souped up. It's like a spy Winnebago. They're taking this thing across the border, and yeah, like all of these different controls and remotes and like little monitors built into the dashboard so that they can presumably like release weapons from the motorhome. And so they start firing all sorts of cannons and stuff and like missiles at Courage and Muriel. And eventually one of them, it's super intense. One of them hits the motorcycle and like it explodes and like goes into a million pieces, which at first is terrifying. But we see like a bunch of pieces all like fall down and reconfigure into a unicycle. And like Muriel lands on it, and then Courage lands on her shoulders. So then it's like even more badass. They're like riding this motorized unicycle, like weaving around stuff and following this Winnebago, still chasing them. And so Courage, he's on Muriel's shoulders, like I said, and she's able to get close enough to the back of the Winnebago where he, just like a total badass, just like jumps off of her shoulders, latches on. He's such a good boy. Courage is the best. So, side note, I'm sorry, but just these are things that Scooby-Doo would never do. No shame on Scooby. Love my dude, but no, Courage, he's got some balls. So he like scales this back window and he gets to the side of the van and like climbs up onto the roof of it, or of the motorhome. He climbs up to the roof of it and he's like running on the roof of this motorhome. He goes up towards the passenger side where Mano is sitting. And he's like, okay, what do I do? What do I do? But I'm pretty sure that Maria knows that he's up there at this point because like the motorhome kind of makes this very quick turn. And like he flings off of it and just like hit my balls. Getting excited. Yeah, he flings off of it. But like somehow crashes into the passenger side window and lands on Mano. And so Maria, though, she's like, perfect, Mano, finish him off now. And Mano just like starts strangling him straight up. And Courage is like fighting him back, and he's able to like grab onto the diamond. I think he like kind of grossly, he puts it in his mouth to like hold on to it. He's a dog. It's all right. It's cool. Yeah. Actually, aren't their mouths like cleaner than ours?
Yes, they are.
Yes. So, keep it there, Courage. Keep it there. So those two are like fighting while Maria is trying to still drive away. And at this point, Muriel ends up becoming the hero, right? So she's like, oh, hell no. They can take my old photos. They can take my damn identity for all they want. But when they take my courage, they have gone too far.
They can take my shitty husband.
Yeah, she didn't even mention Eustace. Literally, it's that order. Courage, identity, photos. She's like,
that's the end of the list.
Wasn't there something else? Oh yeah, they have my TV too. I need that back. So she speeds up. She is able to like get a little bit closer to the motorhome, but she hits this crack in the road, and it unfortunately like sends her flying off of the unicycle, and she lands right on top of the Winnebago. God works in mysterious ways, I guess. And so she lands on the roof right over Courage and Mano. But like as soon as she lands there, she falls immediately through and just like lands in the passenger seat. What the fuck kind of material is this motorhome made of?
They have paper mache. So many other Yeah. Like souped up things, but like they couldn't repair the roof because it's so old. Like
it's
rusty
so
at this point.
They had to spend the whole budget on getting the cannons installed and getting the right satellite reception or like antenna reception for the TVs.
They forgot about the basics, like a roof.
Yeah, like a roof, those things. They probably don't have windshield wipers either. Goodness. So when Muriel falls through the roof and lands on Mono, it very funnily forces him to he slaps Maria in the face. And she just flies off the wheel. And unfortunately though, it causes the Winnebago to just go crazy, skirting all over the road. And it actually flips multiple times and crashes.
Not heavy shit, probably.
And it's made of paper mache.
The paper mache Winnebago.
It's not gonna last. It swerves off the road. And it's not funny. Car accidents are not funny, but in the back of the Winnebago, we see Eustace rolling all over the place, and the TV is going everywhere.
We can laugh at him in a car.
Only at him, because it actually is. It's a very bad crash. We then see it's the Winnebago is absolutely totaled. There are parts everywhere, and the bodies are all laid out among the wreckage. Again, though, we'll laugh at Eustace and Eustace alone. He's laid out, and his head has crashed through the TV screen. Oh, so you just see his head in the TV, and the glass is broken. Yeah, and his body's just laid out. But it's okay. We know he's alive because he's wow, great sound quality. And
that's how he'd want to go anyways. So
watching TV with his head in the TV. And so Courage, he slowly starts to get up after this crash, and he's coughing and hacking and rubbing his head and stuff. And he actually coughs out the diamond. So he was able to hold on to it. Still a little gross, but okay.
Yep.
And so he looks down and he sees that Muriel's glasses are right by his feet, or his little paws. So he picks them up and starts to run over to her to give them back so she can see. But while he's running over to her, he runs into Eustace, who's just walking around with this TV on his head. And he bumps into Eustace, and it makes the already broken TV, it falls off of his head and just shatters into pieces. And so Eustace is pissed. He picks up Courage and choking him. Yeah, you stupid dog, you broke my TV. And Muriel, though, she comes from behind and just hits Eustace over the head with a rolling pin and says that the only thing I can see without my glasses is Eustace's big shiny bald head. Which so I originally was not going to put any of that in there, but I just had to, because anytime someone's shitting on Eustace, we got to throw it in.
So Muriel.
Anyway, while all this is happening, the Bag family is getting recollected and everything. We just see Maria trying to pull Mono out from a cactus. The whole forearm is just stuck in between you call them branches? I don't know what they are for a cactus.
The arms of a cactus.
Yeah, the arms. But before she can get him out, the police officer catches up with them.
Finally.
He ran. He's huffing and puffing. You're under arrest. You have a right to remain silent. But because he's so out of breath, the dumbass doesn't finish Mirandizing them.
Oh no.
Before he slaps handcuffs on them.
He probably doesn't know all of them. He just
probably
the first
doesn't.
One.
He's like, you have a right to arrest. Anything you say, forget about it. And just arrests them right then and there. So, by the way, they're probably just their case is going to get tossed.
They're going to get out.
They're going to get out. Constitutional violation. You fucked up, police officer. See the Ladrones family again. We can wildly speculate. First in court, then they're going to get a dope ass Bobby Cochran or Johnny Cochran to represent them. Yeah. And it's perfect for Mono. If the glove doesn't fit, then you must quit.
Then I quit. If I did it.
This glove could never fit on Mono's forearm. So anyway, back at the farm, Muriel, she's like very wisely putting all of her confidential documents back into the safe, locking that shit up. Hopefully she changed the combination. And she's just like very thankful, like, oh, thank God we're all back. We're all together again. We're all safe and sound. Mm-hmm. But while she's like thankfully and lovingly saying these things, Eustace like just starts crying from the comfort of his nice like recliner or whatever. And at first Muriel's like, oh, even Eustace is weeping tears of joy. Look at how happy and loving my family is. No, he's fucking not at all. He's like, those neighbors gave me the best reception of my life. When are they coming back? Asshole. Like, a terrible man. So yeah, that's the end of the episode, but also very creepily and confirming that the Ladronuses immediately got out of jail. Mm-hmm. We just see like Mono's hand crawling over their TV as like the end credits start to roll. Oh yeah.
Oh, scary.
Oh, will he return? Or perhaps the officer didn't realize that like it was a real hand that Maria was trying to get out of the cactus. And so he only arrested Maria. He didn't arrest Mono too.
Yeah, he was like, this is a bad car crash. Someone probably lost their hand.
Someone lost their arm. I don't know where the rest of the body is, but like
right, he didn't call EMTs.
No, we didn't see him at least.
He didn't Mirandize her, which like, yes, correct. She should take that to court for sure. Yes, absolutely. But two, there might be a dead body here, and you're just like, well, this case is wrapped up. That one's a different case. Yeah.
He's like looking at the county lines, like, I mean, it started in our.
He just kicks the hand to the other county line. Just like nudges it, so it's not his problem. This is the worst cop.
He's like, and case closed.
My hands are clean, unlike that hand over there.
Can't wait to get my raise. Get my bonus.
Oh, I think you're right, though, that she was probably only arrested, not Mono.
I think so, too. Yeah. So, yeah, I got through that kind of quickly because I was like, I'm going to need some help with the wild speculation on this. I have tried to think of ways in which Mono could possibly be just a hand in a forearm. I have maybe the closest thing I can think of is, so when we first see these two, they're escaping from prison. Mono, I think, was a full man in prison. Uh-oh. And somehow when they escaped, the rest of his arm was dismembered and she just left with that. Maybe tying in like lore from the other episodes. She like met with Shirley or something and was like, I need you to put
reanimate
this arm. Yes, reanimate it. It wasn't for personal gain though. That's the thing. We have to figure out how
for love.
It's thank you. See, this is why I was like, I need Grace's help. So she did it for love. Okay. Uh-huh. And now in order to get the rest of the body and reattach it, they need money. Of course, it's going to be an expensive surgery. Shirley's magic only goes so far.
Yeah. And Shirley's expensive probably too.
It's expensive. So they're like, all right, well, let's steal this diamond and then we can have enough money to, I guess. See, yeah, I don't think they're going to break back into the jail to get the body. I truly think they were going to have someone totally reanimate him.
Yes.
Somehow. So, yeah, all I can really come up with is like this very loving couple, criminal duo. Just really, yeah. And like that is truly her motive at the end of the day. Like she's just trying to get money to like bring her husband back to his full body, his full form. So another complex villain in a way.
Oh, it's a love story.
But yeah, we still, it is. But I said Bonita and Claudio for a reason.
They truly are. Wow.
Yeah, it's adorable. So yeah, that is the story of Maria and Manuel Mano Ladrones and how they were, as per all the criminals and monsters in Nowhere, foiled by Courage, the cowardly dog.
And Muriel this time.
And Muriel. Yeah.
Yes.
So yeah, one of the few times where Muriel actually knows and like realizes the dangerous situation that they're in down. And is like, oh shit, I gotta step up and save somebody.
Yep. So maybe because, not to victim blame at all, but maybe because she was like, ooh, I did give her the code to all of this. Or maybe because she's like, oh, my ass is on the line here. But I think that's what snapped her into it, is that she was like, oh, I'm going to get arrested. Now Courage is in trouble. Now, so she's actually paying attention for when Courage got in trouble.
It was like actually directly impacting her and her well-being. Yes. Not to say the other stuff in the other episodes hasn't, but yeah, you just like you said, shit, I can't get arrested.
Right.
Then what?
Yeah. Like, you that'll never be with Courage.
Arrest the quack, but don't arrest me.
Yeah. Wow. Great job.
Thank you. Fun episode. Wow. I definitely remember this one from when I was younger, specifically for the hands thing. And like I also remembered like the episode of Muriel being like imitated or like an imposter.
Yeah.
So I was like, wait, which one was that? And I had to do it when I finally found it. So
yep. Yeah. When I saw on our list of like who's taking what episode, I was like, Muriel met her match. Like, wait a second. Is that like the twin one? But I couldn't remember what it was.
That's how I remembered it at first. Yeah.
Yeah. Wow. Good job.
Anyway, thank you. So that is all for today's mystery, today's crime of heisting and thievery and diamond
and kidnapping, attempted murder,
stealing a police vehicle.
Yeah, breaking out of jail. They had actually a lot of crimes.
There's a lot. This was a heavy episode. Yeah. It's like we just flew through all those crimes. Like, there's all this, but it's a love story. Yeah. So next week, we'll be back with more funny, spooky crimes. We'll see a little combination of both, perhaps some monsters. But until then, who, Grace, should our dear listeners and viewers tell about this wonderful podcast?
I think that you'll probably have to find it on Craigslist, but like look on Craigslist or any auto dealer shops for a Winnebago and go tell whoever's trying to sell the Winnebago, like, you clearly loved this car to death since the last couple of decades. You know who knows a lot about Winnebagos? Saturday Morning Mysteries. You should listen to this episode. It's centered on Winnebagos.
It is.
Yes. And then who else should we tell after that?
I think you should tell, so you know how there's like all these influencers doing like the RV overhauls and stuff like that. Like, hey, renovate, hashtag van life. Go to Instagram or Twitter, whichever, and just do the like hashtag van life and like look at all those posts that come up. And on every single one, just say, watch Satmore and Mist, listen to Satmore and Mist, do this. And with everyone, they'll also say they talk about Winnebagos like all the time, AKA this one episode. You'll love it. They talk about adventures all the time. You'll love it. Just do it.
You'll love it. This episode and then listen to the rest of them. Nice.
Oh, yeah. Start here.
I like it.
Work your way back. You can do it in like 30 hours, I think.
You're driving around all the time for van life, so you have the time to listen to a podcast.
Very true. I love listening to a good podcast on a road trip. It helps pass the time. So depending on how far you're going, pop on just a few episodes of our podcast, and next thing you know, you'll be there. You'll forget that you're even driving. Let's be real.
Yeah, it'll be super safe.
Like, oh my God, did we just teleport here? As you see like crashes and everything behind you on the highway, like you're not paying attention at all, driving,
swerving.
Yeah.
Good. Excellent. We love it.
Please practice road safety, everyone out there. But anyway, thank you. Until next week.
Yeah. Bye.
Thanks for tuning in to Saturday Morning Mysteries.
If you enjoyed this episode, please share, rate, review, leave us a like, and drop a comment. We post episodes every Saturday and bonus tune tangents whenever we feel like it. So please subscribe so you don't miss the shenanigans.
And if you want to follow us on YouTube, click the bell under the YouTube subscribe button to receive notifications when new videos are posted.
And if you want to subscribe to the podcast, we have no idea what you're listening to us on, so just hit the big subscribe button on whatever app you're using. We believe in you.
Give us a follow on Twitter and Instagram at SatmornMist, all the abreves, and let us know if you have any episode or show requests by emailing SaturdayMorningMysteries@gmail.com.
Thanks to Jenna Kendall for the logo design and to Ava Sakiki for the music used during this week's episode.
See y'all groovy kids next week on Saturday Morning Mysteries.